What's up, you guys? My name's Noah. I make music as Haterade, and you're watching Sonic Academy. Happy 808 day. We're making some 808s today. We're going to be talking through the basics of making an 808 and what makes up the anatomy of an 808. So before we jump into that, we're going to talk about what an 808 is and where it came from. So the 808 comes from the TR 808 drum machine from Roland. It's a really old drum machine from the 80s, the early 80s. And it became really popularized in hip hop, and it sounds a lot different than how it used to versus how it sounds today. So a traditional 808 from an 808 kit sounds like this. And the more modern version of that 808 sounds like this. A lot more distortion, a lot more power. It feels a lot heavier. 808s are now synonymous with bass, but they used to be considered kicks. So let's talk about what the difference is between a kick and an 808. We're opening up kick 2 now, and we have the default preset loaded in here. And I think everybody would unanimously say that this sound right here is a kick, right? And what makes it a kick is the transient. The transient, which is this click right here, and this pitch envelope that's going down really fast right at the beginning, is creating that sharp attack on the sound, and that's creating what's called a transient. Mimics the impact of a drumstick hitting a drum. That's the transient. So if we wanted to make this into more of a bass rather than a kick, all we would need to do is just remove the transient, bring this pitch down, and create a little bit of space in the amp, and it now sounds a little bit more smooth. It just sounds like bass now. So I mean, it still has a little bit of a transient there from this pitch down. So let's even bring that down even further. Now this is starting to feel more like bass rather than an actual kick drum sample. So the other thing that separates a kick from an 808 is the length, right? So if our burst of low end was only this long, you could make an argument like, well, it's a really soft kick, but it's a kick, right? But if we're bringing the length out to around, 1300 milliseconds, that feels more like a bass, right? So the length and the transient are what those differentiators are. In our case, I think let's try to create our own transient here with the pitch. And we'll smooth out this curve here. And create a little bit more length on this guy too. So this sounds like a bass, right? Sounds like an 808, but it doesn't really have that modern sound yet. And what gives it the modern sound is the distortion and the saturation. That's what really exemplifies the modern 808 in hip hop and dance music. So let's jump down to our distortion unit down here. We have a couple of different options. We have clip, we have tube, we have wave shaping, and what's the most aggressive, and then we have tape. I like tube the best, so we'll stick with that one. Additionally, if we wanted to add extra punch, we could use the compressor. So if you're not familiar with what a compressor does, compressor is just a volume control. That's the easiest way to think about it. When the signal surpasses the threshold, it reacts to how much compression, which is the ratio, and then the attack, which is how long you want to wait until that compressor actually starts working, and the release, which tells the compressor to stop working after a certain amount of time. So if we bring up the makeup gain here, and bring down the threshold, and bump up the attack, what we're doing is we're telling the compressor, okay, keep the makeup gain here, and the signal reaches this point at negative 13.29 decibels, wait 70 milliseconds to start working. And what that's going to do is create that burst at the beginning, and then it's going to lower the volume. So it's going to reinforce the transient value in our 808. And you can see that in the render here. This little guy right here, this is our transient. And then the rest of this guy's our tail. So we can go further and shape this 808 even more if we add in maybe some additional harmonics. So you notice I went to waves, I clicked saw here. We could choose from a bunch of different ones. The general 808 is just going to be a sine wave, but you could use all kinds of different waves to make your 808s. So let's add some harmonics and choose the saw setting. Let's bring that pitch down a little bit more. Yeah, let's bring the tone down of the 808 too. Let's bring it down to, let's see. Let's go to E. Yeah, I like that. Now let's play it with our drum loop. You can go further with more post-processing, more EQs, more saturation. There's a lot of things you could do with the 808, but this is how you build one from scratch using Kick 2. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, be sure to hit subscribe and check out more of our videos on sonicacademy.com. There's tons and tons of material out there for all different types of music. Go check it out. There's definitely something for you over there.
Thanks everyone for watching. We really appreciate all the support from you guys. If you love this video, then smash a like. And if you want to be notified about new videos, hit the subscribe and notification buttons. Peace!